some fun.
Fish.
I was going to tell a story about killing animals.
Great way to start. Welcome to the Dean Blundell Show. My name is Dean. That is Lachlan Cross, who joins us today from 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. James DiFiore at Blackball Media is here as well. Zoey, Carey, trucker, trans activist, joins us from her truck. So it's going to be
in the truck, too, which is really cool.
This is my home as well as my workplace. So, yes. Actually, it's currently getting washed, so you guys might hear some noise.
This is my office as well as my home. I think we all say that now, don't we? That's pretty much where we're all at. No one goes to work anymore.
I just don't want to pay rent.
Yeah.
So I just don't want to pay rent. So that's why I stay here. So
do you live in that thing?
Yeah, I do. Full time. Yeah. Technically, my home address is my mom's house, but I'm trying to save up. I don't want to rent ever again. So I'm trying to save up for like buying. I got to pay off my trailer and I got to pay off some other stuff first. So
right.
And I got to buy a new motorcycle.
I have a question for you, Zoey. What is your preferred stimulant when you're on the road and you're about to fall asleep while driving? It could be caffeine. I'm just wondering.
Tea mostly. Timmy's, or I make my own. For the odd pick me up, I go, like I was saying, I go with the odd sugar-free Red Bull.
One of these?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Have you tried the zero one? They're pretty good too.
No, you know what's funny? When I first went to the sugar-free one, I was like, it doesn't get me as up because I need the sugar. So I used to eat a chocolate bar with it, just and now I'm convinced through the placebo effect, likely, that it is just as energetic.
Probably what it is. It's probably what it is. I don't drink coffee. I don't like it. I've never done really any hard drugs, so
yeah, same here.
We're so regular. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been listening to you guys, so
shit. Well, I'm out of here.
He knows. Yeah, he knows you're a walking, talking pharmaceutical laboratory.
I think what you mean is I'm knowledgeable about the illicit substances that could harm you if you take them badly.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. I couldn't imagine. I just drink coffee. That's all I do. Drink coffee and soda water. That's all I do now. Like literally all I drink is coffee and soda water. Because my theory is, now that I don't drink, my theory is drink like 1 or 2 caffeinated coffees a day. Do you want my routine? I'll give you my fucking routine. I'll give you my drink routine. This is my drink routine. Big drinker. I wake up in the morning at about 4 or 5 o'clock. Do some yoga with Tim. That's a lie. Then I did it once. I still haven't tried it again. But I have a coffee and then I move to decaf right away. I don't mess around. I go right to decaf, and then I have about 2 or 3 soda waters. Then I have a protein shake, and then I have another decaf.
How many times do you pee a day?
73.
Not bad.
73. I bet you I drink 15 cans of soda water a day.
What?
Flavored.
Why don't you buy one of those soda streams? I actually have one in here. It's pretty good.
Quit fucking trying.
Is that why your hair is that color?
Your soda stream, Zoey.
Your hair is soda silver. It really is.
Mine?
No.
Dean's. Oh, Dean's.
Mine.
Oh,
no,
yeah. Yours is definitely. Yours has been silver
Arctic
for a long time.
Arctic blonde. Relax.
Trauma. It's trauma.
Yeah. No, but that's what I do. It's like when I and I'm like that at a restaurant too. When I go to a restaurant, I'm like, I have a soda water, a cranberry juice, a Diet Coke, thanks. And there's like, you want 3 drinks? I'm like, yeah, fuck, right now. I don't know if it's just, but my dad was saying to me the other day, because he's like, you still drink a lot of that soda water, don't you? I go, yeah, for like fucking 15 to 20 cans a day, all the time, never
Jesus.
Fail. So I pee all the time. I also take like a shitload of vitamins. Are you guys doing the vitamin therapy? You guys do you do vitamins?
I am.
Yeah, dude.
Vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc, and a multi or something.
Yeah. So, and then I've been doing this for like a year, and I haven't been sick in a very, very long time. Vitamin D, omega, vitamin C, multivitamin, and then I load up my shake with a bunch of superfood powder and stuff like that. It's a long story. But then this new report comes out about COVID-19. Did you guys see this? It was fucking incredible. They're like,
today,
take at least 5,000, like last week, take at least 5,000 units of vitamin D a day, and you will have your immune system. I'm a million times happier. Like, I'm happier than I've ever been, and I don't know if it's because of the fucking vitamins or whatever. Maybe it's a bunch of different shit. But I know the difference when I don't take them for like 2 days. I feel sad. I feel fucking down. And I don't feel like doing much. I'm not really that motivated. So like between the water and 4 billion units of vitamins a day, I'm killing it. Absolutely killing it.
And Dean, you look
feel the
great.
need to have any Red Bull. Yeah, I feel great.
You look great. You look, sometimes you look, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but I just thought of it, so now I have to say it. You do kind of look like Julian Assange and Mo Green from The Godfather had a baby.
Oh God.
But good though.
All right, I'll see you later, everybody.
Healthy.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah,
You
no
look
problem.
healthy.
Like a healthier version.
Yeah, like a healthier.
See, and that's the thing is like I didn't think like I had these when it comes to men's health, I always thought that men's health was just a joke. Like but I put cream on my face now. I put cream on my face every day when I get out of the
It gets
shower.
dry. Why not?
But I put shit on my face. I never used to do it.
My
I
wife
bought a
got mad at me
thing.
the other day because I left blood on the sheet because my elbows are so dry that they cracked and bled.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not even kidding.
you need to put cream on your elbows.
I know.
And then
it doesn't reach
and then
there
here's
from
another.
where I usually put it. Go ahead.
What are you talking about? You just got to go like that with your hand.
He's
you can't
talking
go like
about
that.
Jergens.
I get it.
That'd be.
We're out of Jergens.
Yeah. So taking care of myself again. This is a little thing that I do. Maybe this is part of my wellness plan. I'm not sure. Dean's wellness plan. I'm also writing a book called Eat to Shit, which we've talked about on this very program. I found this little machine that like grinds the dry shit off your heels.
What?
Brilliant.
I'm limping right now
yeah.
because of my
Yeah,
calluses. Yeah, that's crazy.
You just found this out?
Dude, I didn't know you had to take care of your feet until at the age of 40 fucking 7. I had no idea. I'm like, that shit just takes care of itself, right? You clip your toenails. That's all I've ever done. I've never put moisturizer on my feet. I've never fucking rubbed any of the 12 inches of calluses off the heels of my feet.
When you walk across the kitchen floor, does it
2
sound like
shorter.
you're wearing tap shoes?
And
I
you know what
used
made
to-
me do it? I was walking down the stairs and I caught my heel on the wood part of the stairs, and this is all I heard.
I've done that.
Going down the wood part of the stairs. I'm like, I better take care of that shit. So I went and got one of those things. Anyway,
when
take care of yourself.
when COVID is over, go get a actual pedicure. They're the best. I've been getting them since before my ex-wife used to drag me there when I was still a dude. They're awesome.
Fuck no.
You get like good
No
massages on your feet and like
It's really
I remember
embarrassing.
one
Don't do it,
time-
Dean. Don't do it,
'Cause
Dean. It's really
I would-
embarrassing. When you
Because
have
I
shit ass
wear-
feet like we do. Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
they don't care. They
the
get-
conversation is good.
I will
that
show you
element is
my
good.
feet, and you'll know why we are not doing this.
Please
Oh,
don't. It's going to end
I've
up on
worn-
that wood app somehow. You know.
I've
Right.
worn
Let's see
work
'em.
boots my entire life.
You wanna see
and
my
watch
feet?
them
No.
shave it off and then start laughing because
Yeah,
there was
I've
so
seen
much
people
dead skin.
Yeah, dude, it was the grossest thing in the world. I did it on a towel.
What are you
And
doing?
yeah, let's see those
Don't
feet.
do this.
Lock,
No one wants-
great
Oh.
shot of your nutsack. Thanks for that. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
hard
what's
to
wrong
tell.
with
but-
your toes, dude? What's wrong with your toes?
They're really short.
Hockey.
They're from hockey toes?
Yeah, it's from being trailer trash and not having enough money for a new pair of skates.
My middle two toes are webbed, just to let you know.
You got webbed feet? Okay, now we
Do you
need to
really?
see that.
Yeah,
My
you
two
definitely
middle
got pulled in
toes. My two
Yeah,
middle
let's-
toes are webbed like halfway up.
Let's
Pull it
have a
out,
look.
let's see.
I want to see them.
I don't want to
see
show
your
my
webbed
toes.
Yes, you
Fuck
do.
that, dude. We're all dumping
But what
our
if I have
personal
cheese
stuff
in
out.
between them and I don't know?
Well, just fucking give
Get
it a quick
a
swipe.
foot up there. If that's webbed,
How
I
can
need
you have
to see
cheese?
this.
How can you have cheese between your webbed toes? You
No.
can't. That's it.
Can you see?
Yeah. Little webbing right there at the bottom. Not
Yeah.
super
Oh
web.
shit.
Well, it's about halfway. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
I'm not a very good swimmer, so fuck evolution, right?
Aquaman.
Evolution, you can kiss my fucking ass, you fraud. All right.
Anyway, just good to see everybody today.
Yeah.
Really nice. I thought I'd share some tips to male wellness. Lots of fucking vitamins, ton of water, not too much caffeine. That's the trick. And that's why we started talking about this, because Zoey's got a Red Bull there. James
I'm not
lives
drinking
on this
it.
stuff. It just makes it, doesn't it make you crazy? Makes me crazy. I've had like 2 of them in my life. Both times I'm like, let's go fucking light some shit on fire.
It's
That's
really
how I
good for
felt.
when you're coming off of meth. It cushions
Yeah.
it right out. It's amazing.
I bet.
It's true.
I have like maybe 1 or 2 a week at most. Like I don't
That's
drink a
not
lot,
bad.
so like
No.
and I don't
Well-
buy the sugar ones because I'm actually trying to stay away from as much sugar as humanly possible. So
Anything in excess or right. We have it's a friend of a friend of a friend kind of a thing, and he's not doing well right now. He's really, really sick. And I said to Jimmy, who's pretty close with him on the show, I said, maybe it has something to do with the 4 or 5 Gatorades that he drinks every day. His blood is calcifying, and they don't know why. They got him on these pills, prednisone, and they just and prednisone. I don't know.
Prednisone's terrible.
Blood pressure pill, isn't it?
Makes you crazy.
No, it's
Prednisone makes you
steroid.
crazy. Yeah.
It's a steroid.
Oh wow.
Zoe's right. It's a steroid. And what they do is when they don't have any idea what else to fucking do, they just go, here, take this. This might work. So this is controlling the potassium buildup in his blood, which is basically calcifying
Like artery plaque? Is that what it is?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, the calcium.
Blood.
Well, you know what calcium is, right?
I
wonder if does Gatorade have just a shitload of potassium in it too?
I don't know.
Yes, it does. I think
Does
it
it?
does. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like
Too much of anything, everybody. Too many,
Yeah.
dude. Too much celery is bad for you. Too much sex is bad for you. I've heard. Too much
Wouldn't
Coke
know.
is bad for you.
Too much. What? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, my ex-wife
Um,
used to take prednisone a lot for her Crohn's, which is actually how Dean and I already know each other. So yeah.
That's weird.
What the
Crohn's
fuck
or
ever happened to
prednisone?
nanobots? Remember they were going to
No.
inject us with nanobots, and the nanobots would clean our arteries and stuff. What the fuck? What happened
I
to
don't
that
know.
shit?
I don't even know what you're talking about, to be honest.
Nanobots,
I
medical.
know what nanobots are,
technology.
little tiny robots.
Send
yeah.
Bill Gates a note. See where he's at with that.
Same.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
he's controlling the 5G towers and everything.
speaking too much of anything, Locke, how's the vegan diet going this week?
I'm starting to
You
get
make-
frustrated. I'm hanging in there. I don't think I'm getting enough protein. So, and then I can't stop eating. Like I was telling you before we went live that I had pasta last night and I ate like an ice cream bucket full of it. And I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I was just ravenous hungry. So I stopped. I'm eating way too much bread products, like because bagels and sourdough are vegan, so I'm eating those. Yeah, it's okay. I'm still making it through. I'm just less than halfway through, so I'll make it.
What do you got,
I'll do
Are
it.
you drinking a lot of water?
Yes, I always drink lots of water. Actually, yeah. So
It's part of his yogic lifestyle.
I've always been like that though. Before,
Yeah.
I was always a heavy water drinker. I'm the only thing that I drink in excess, if I'm being honest. I have 1 or 2 coffee a day, but the only thing that I drink in excess is beer.
Oh, is that
So,
all?
But it's
Yeah.
light beer.
Just kidding.
It's light,
light
diet beer.
Yeah. It's light
Oh.
beer, so it's not that big of a deal.
Oh,
Right.
Darren's in.
Hi,
I
Darren.
had-
How are you? I know you just got here, but I just would like to
Hey,
welcome you
everybody,
to the
Darren
show.
Pfeiffer. Everybody, let's point out that Darren Pfeiffer's here because he's great.
Hey, we won't make Dean say fuck 50 times again this time. Just so you guys know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Zoey, what's going on?
That's a disappointment.
Just here, catching up with Locke's diet. He's still on the vegan diet for another 2 weeks because he lost that celebrity death pool. And I
I
want
can't
to know
believe
if
Dustin
lost.
Diamond died.
Yeah, I know. He lost on that one too. Crazy.
Yeah.
I want to know, have you lost any weight?
So we did a weigh-in on January 31st before we went into the vegan month, and I had a week of meat. Like I ate nothing but meat. Like I went overboard leading up to it. And then on that night, I had Jimmy over who's doing the bet with me. He also has to be vegan. And the two of us had a big steak dinner, and then we went downstairs, drank a bunch of beer, went downstairs and did a weigh-in. I did the old UFC thing. Nothing better looking than a 50-year-old man
In his gitch, weighing himself in his basement
in the
next to
laundry
his
room.
little friend.
Wearing nothing but a tube sock.
That's you know what that is? That's the set of a sweet porn.
So, yeah.
Sweet bread porn.
So-
Hey, you're from Alberta, so you're going to people's parties right now and taking all their sourdough bread
I can see
after
the
you get
trailer.
drunk for some
Two
reason.
vegans enter the laundry room.
Only
One's a
one
little
Can't believe
comes
they ate
out.
all the bagels. Oh my god.
Vegan death match.
So I weighed myself, and I'd like to put this in perspective. I am 6'4", I weighed myself. I was 238.6 pounds. Okay. So not an ideal fighting weight, but we'll leave it at that.
It's
so
fine.
Then I hit the vegan diet. I'm sticking to it. No animal products. I go a week and I weigh myself again on Sunday after the Super Bowl, and I'm 238.6 pounds. I haven't lost a damn pound. Nothing.
It's all the beer from the Super Bowl. That's probably
Are you
why.
still drinking? Are you still drinking?
Yes, we did get a pass. Grant was like, I'm not going to make you guys go vegan and not be able to drink beer. So so my consumption of beer may have gone up.
How do you
You're
feel,
not a vegan
like,
if you
how
drink beer. Just saying.
How do you feel now, like overall, as opposed to, because I've heard people like my dad went on this all carb diet for a year because he went crazy. I'm like, Dad, I don't think it's a great idea. He's like, I got the shakes. It's unfucking believable, kid. I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah. So yeah, how are you feeling?
I feel fucking on edge, man. I totally do. Like
That's it.
I don't understand, and I'm not clear. I'm not as things aren't like, but I am drinking a lot more.
Sorry, that was just funny. I'm just like, I thought like you were going to break out some incense and some drink.
What's his face? What's his name? What's his
McNuts?
What's his ass?
Lachlan, you're not saying anything. You're just trailing off a little there, sir.
That's the thing. I think everybody needs meat. And when I see people like make other people who feel bad about eating meat who eat meat, nothing enrages me more. Like literally, you could push an old lady down the stairs. I'll be like, it's kind of funny though. But like you tell someone not to eat meat, I rage. It's the weirdest thing. It's
John,
like
Dean, for the longest time in Goldfinger, we went through a phase where our singer John Feldman was straight up militant PETA. He had a desk next to our merch booth at every show with PETA representatives and videos that ran on loop showing slaughterhouses, and he gave out paperwork at this table, and they try to convert people into vegetarianism and veganism for a good.
I actually think that's a great thing to do. Like, as long as you're not a dick about it, that's a good thing to do. Go ahead. Sorry.
They show those puppies being barbecued. Those ones would turn me right off if I walked in there. I'd be like, I'll never eat puppy.
I don't think I've seen the puppy barbecue one yet.
You just gave me a flashback of the time I saw on Twitter a Chinese man, and he's sitting there with a stick, and he's just like this, and the camera pans back, and he's holding a struggling dog under boiling water. And that image is just singed into my mind. And
that's a good. That's a good cause. I like that cause, but I couldn't, Darren. Honest to God, I wouldn't like. Sure, it's a nice cause, but the militant aspect of it would drive me fucking crazy. Those are the people I get mad at.
Dean, I used to go to his. He would ask me to go to his like rallies. He'd have like Chicken Lives Matter rallies where he'd go to KFC and PETA people would get together with these signs and they dress up as chicken with red paint on it. And I'd go with him because he needed muscle security, because people would get in their face and go, I like chicken and I'll fight you right now. And I'd be like, all right, enough.
All right, chicken lover.
That sounds like Feldman, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, well, now he's since moved away from that. I've watched him with my own two eyes.
Yeah, because he got the shakes.
Eat pizza with sausage on it, and I'm like, dude, I thought you were vegan. He goes, well, whatever. I'm like,
he's a fraud. Wow.
I think he still. I think he still waves that flag, Zoey. I still think he's that guy, like in his public persona, like PETA, vegan.
I did want to ask you, what albums do you still get residuals from, so I don't download those, the non-ones? Just want to make sure.
The last two. I don't get any money from those.
Oh, okay.
So you get residuals from the first. How many did you have? 4?
First 7.
For 7. Okay, download those, everybody at home.
Download those, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, speaking of James, by the way, I finally figured out who you look like, and it's someone in the
guy
industry.
from System of the Down,
Dr.
right?
Evil.
Oh.
No, not the guy from System.
I think I know who you're talking about.
You mean?
Dr. Evil.
No, not Dr. Evil. Have you guys heard of the band, the punk rock band?
Oh.
We're losing.
Wow, they're so punk rock that you can't even say their name. Oh.
Say it again. We lost you. Say it again.
Have we heard of the punk rock band? The punk rock band out of California called the Descendants.
Yes.
Well, the guitar player in that band is named Stephen Edgerton.
Holy shit.
You do.
Oh my God, I do.
Dude, hold that there. We're going to just change the view so
wait,
we can see it. Yeah, you do.
My
you
tongue
look
is
exactly
white.
like him. Yeah.
You even have his teeth, kind of. Like it's
Jesus.
awesome.
No, I don't.
You do.
Okay.
You could be brothers.
I met my doppelganger once in Corktown, and we both looked at each other, and it was like, remember in The Doors when Val
Spider-Man
Kilmer
meme?
ran into the other Jim Morrison at the party, and then
Yeah.
they switched? It was like that. We looked at each other, and he's like, "Holy shit!" I'm like, "I know." And we were both wearing glasses, and we both had similar clothes on, and it was just really weird. And I'm just like, "All right, I guess I'll see you, maybe never." And he's like, "Okay, me." And we walked away from each other.
That's hilarious.
If those of you don't know, Zoey is on the program today because if you remember last week we were talking about transitioning and trans women, trans men. And James had some thoughts because I had challenged him in a fun way, if you can, on some things that he was saying. I'm like, why do you even give a shit about certain things? Like, trans people who transition and what they say. And the great part about when you do like a community access program like this is people in the community actually watch. And Zoey,
is that what this is? Community access program.
Exactly. Yeah.
I listen to a lot of podcasts, so yes, you guys are just on one of those lists. I listen to Darren's as well. So
dude,
you know.
Darren, dude, he listens to ours first. Zoey. Don't say we're just one of the podcasts. It's just it's demeaning.
Well, if it was longer, I'd listen to it more. I spend 12 hours a day driving. Come on.
I'm not ready to do longer. So just, big it up.
You can listen to mine. We put our radio show out on a podcast.
You're not ready to do longer? Maybe that's why you're divorced. Whoa!
Wait, that's how you get divorced?
Another 2 minutes, honey.
Just come out as trans and you'll get divorced. So,
yeah. So anyway, now
I want to hear that story. Zoey, can we hear the story when you told your wife?
Can we get into this?
Hey, Lachlan, can you derail the conversation again?
Sorry.
What are you, James? So Zoey had sent us a couple Facebook messages that our socials guy sent me, and I'm like, yeah, fuck, let's have Zoey on the program because she had some issues with some of the things that James was saying. So Zoey, what exactly, like, what did you make of the conversation other than that I was incredibly appropriate and James wasn't? Other than that,
other than you kept
shut
calling
up, Anderson
me he,
Cooper with
which,
Buddy Holly glasses.
Other than you kept calling me he, which was the only thing, but I'll let that slide because it's you. But it was the so I had to re-listen to it today actually. So I've listened to it twice now. It was the kids thing. And there was I wish I could remember it all now. I was like had all these points and I forget them all. But
I can probably tell you what the points were. Do you want me to refresh?
I was driving. What do you want me
always
to do?
make a list.
But okay, so you said something about you would not ever want to see any kids under the age of 16 have access to any form of like medication or anything like that.
Yes, the biggest concern is before puberty.
Okay, so the problem with that is what they do is before puberty, they don't give them any sort of like testosterone or estrogen or anything like that. It's just a blocker, which basically just stops them from having their going through puberty at that point in time. Because most kids started around I think my kids started at 10 or 11. So the reason why they do that,
Darren started at 3, by the way.
Yeah, and I'm still going through it.
I think I did too, but
I got some hair growing in here.
Okay,
but the reason why they do it before 16 or before puberty is because if that kid happens to go through the puberty of the gender that they don't want to be.
I knew he was going to smell his hand. I'm sorry, Zoey.
That's fine.
So go ahead.
It's not my first time on here. It's okay. It's not my first time.
It smells good.
Relax. We're learning.
If they they do it because they don't want to see the kid go through the wrong puberty, basically. So it just temporarily pauses it. And if they decide that they don't want to be, that they're not trans for whatever reason, then they go off the blockers and then they just have their normal period. maybe a couple years later in life, but the small amount of research that they do have, and there's a reason for that, I'll get to it, shows that there is no real adverse effects. But the reason why there's only such a small amount of research on it, even though like this has been happening for a long time, it's just more known now, it's just you see it more often now, is because I don't want to say every single one of those kids, but almost every single one of those kids that start off on the hormone blockers end up continuing on their transition. So there just isn't the research that everybody wants because the kids don't do it. And the only regret most I would say 99.99% of trans people, their only and biggest regret is that they just didn't do it sooner. Like I didn't do it until I was 30, and it for lack of a better word, fucked me. I wish I could have done it when I was 10, because I knew when I was 10 that this is the way I was. So basically they do it to keep kids from killing themselves. And because the trans community has such a high rate of not only suicidality, but actual attempts as well, which I can say I'm part of that group. It's the best way to mitigate it. And when kids have access to these transition, this ability to transition, their percentage of possibly that and like family support, like their possibility of going down that road is severely dropped. So there is the research on that, and now it's been a few years since I was actually a part of any sort of like outreach group, because I used to do it a few years ago. But I know, like I said, the numbers, they are out there to say that this is what kids need to do. Now, I don't agree with kids who say, I want to be a girl today, I want to be a boy today. Like, that's not being trans. Being trans is a very obvious thing. The kid goes through a lot of mental anguish and things like that, and you have to jump through hoops to even begin anything. So like you got to see multiple doctors.
That was my next question, Zoe. Well, there must be a process to get access to these drugs. It's not just, oh, you want to be a girl? Here you go.
Yeah, no, it's like, even for me as a 30-year-old adult, I had to go through multiple doctors. I had to see psychiatrists. And I had to wait like several months before they would even, grant me access to the drugs. And for surgery reasons too, I had to live full time as a female in the world for at least 1 year before they'd even allow me to have the surgery, let alone if I were to pay for it, which I was lucky because I live in Ontario. OHIP covered it for me.
I got a question, and I'm going to preface it with, it's a joke. Was there a nagging period, or a nagging protocol, like the doctors and psychiatrists needed? Like, you have to nag this many years, and you got to nag this many guys, and you got to bitch about this, and you got to bitch about that. Is there a quota, like on paper, like it says here, you got to bitch about the guy can't watch that much sports. He can't go out with his friends. He's drinks too much.
Drinking.
In Locke's case, he drinks, so you got to nag him about his drinking, etc.
No, unfortunately, there's definitely not that. But you got to remember too, I'm more of like what you would consider like a tomboy or whatever you want to call me. I kind of like right up the middle now in my life. Whereas I drive a transport, which is known to be a male dominated industry, and which I absolutely love. I actually got a new truck too, by the way.
Congratulations!
Since the last time, I got a 19.
Does this one have a shitter? Because we were talking about that last time, and I thought, you know what? That's when you've made it in trucking. Is when your cab has a shitter.
Not too long after last time I talked to you guys, I got it. But it's got a top bunk, so I can bring my kid with me in the summer. So,
have you rubbed one out in it yet?
Oh, dude, of course.
I have a question.
I can't really rub one out. I don't have that anymore. But yes, I have.
Rub one in.
Rub one out.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Locke's got a question, Zoe. Locke's got a question.
So I was in the James camp where I was like, I would want somebody to go through a certain period of life as the way they were born before you allow them to move into the next gender. And the reason is because I thought, and I'm at the question is, why does everybody in the general public have this idea that there's these really harsh drugs. I mean, again, I don't know much about the blocker, but the way you described it, it seems like a much more simple process drug-wise than what we thought. There's this perception in the general public that if you are going to, you're going to have to take this multitude of these really, really harsh drugs that could have an impact on the rest of your life.
Okay. No, and that's the thing. Like, yes, they are like the adverse effects from blockers is very minimal, if any at all, depending. It's when you start actually taking the hormones, which for children especially, you have to wait, like I said, I believe it's at least 16 in this country. I can't remember off the top of my head. 16 or 18, the numbers always fluctuate. But it's when you start actually taking the hormones that you start having the effects where they can't be reversed. Now, for female to male, especially as you get older, like, you only have to take testosterone and you like instantly become a guy. Like, it's like your voice drops instantly. Like, testosterone is a very harsh drug. That's why they don't give it to anybody that young. Estrogen is a lot softer, I guess is the best way to describe it. Like, it doesn't make the effects. Like, for me personally, like, the best way I can describe it is, for me, when I started taking estrogen, I didn't lose any facial hair. I didn't lose, like, my voice stayed deep. Like, there was a lot of changes that just didn't happen because I went through a male puberty, because testosterone is so strong. Whereas females who transition to male, like, within a couple of months, their voice drops. They got lots of facial hair. Like, they're literally passing. So, like, as you can see, there's like, that's where it becomes harsh. But the problem is there's this right wing, I find a lot of places that send out this misinformation about transition and things like that. And like I said, once you finally jump through the hoops and are given this access, then it's like, okay, well, we still have protocols you got to follow. Like, there's like, and even to find a doctor willing, now, mind you, it's 2021. It's a little bit easier to find a doctor willing to help you, but there are still a lot of doctors out there that won't even like give a 30-year-old estrogen, let alone a kid. So,
is your journey done, Zoey? Are you done? Are you complete? Or you still got steps to take? Like for example, do you find Tom Brady attractive yet?
See, I'm still into women mostly. Like, I yeah.
Sorry, James.
I would say I'm still like
because I do. I'm not gay, but I find Tom Brady attractive.
He's pretty hot. But
you'd be crazy not to think he's an attractive
man.
That's almost
he's a little pale.
The majority of the reason why I hate him, actually.
I would say I'm like 75-25. 75% into women, 25% into guys. But I, like, even before my transition, I was always into women. I always found myself more attracted to them. And that's just me. So and I find it's more about the person. I fall into that camp now, which is, it's funny because your eyes open up a little bit differently when you go through these types of changes. But I don't even bother with the whole, like, I don't even want to get started on the whole dating part because it's next to impossible to do it when you're trans. So let alone.
But
like,
are there not like, can you not go to, it seems like there should be, if you go to Bumble or Tinder or any of those dating apps, there should be a section for people who are, because there's a gay section, should be a trans section, right?
There is, like, you can input that information now. Like, they've given that, like, they've added that to their sites. So, but it's still, I gave up even trying. Besides, I like my money. I want to buy a new motorcycle soon, so I'd rather have my money. So
smart chick.
I gotta find a Triumph actually. So,
sorry, go ahead, James. Did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say there was a lot that Zoey said that I think deserves addressing. One of them, I think that. First of all, I want to say that I believe you that you knew when you were 10, and I'm sure there's a lot of kids who know or did know. There's I don't know. I want to try to navigate this carefully because you mentioned something that I sort of made me go, oh, when you were talking about the right wing, and they certainly do have a sort of baseline bigoted opinion of trans people.
Yeah,
I think we all would agree.
Especially the religies.
Right. Yeah, that's the more people I refer to is the religies. Yeah.
What happens though is that sometimes some of those they're always motivated by a negative thing like hatred or something like that. But sometimes they arrive to data points that people that aren't bigoted arrive to. So I'll give you just a quick example. So you combine these things like taking away the parents' right to decide medical treatments for kids. If you take that away, if you ignore, not you, the royal you, right? Like if people ignore, if people ignore things like gender, rapid onset gender dysphoria. And what that is that, so say you have a class or a grade in a school and there's like 45 girls in the school and it's like grade 6 and 7. If one of them comes out as trans, you'll find that there's this trend, I guess you would call it, where all of a sudden 5, 6, 7 girls will come out as trans. And of those girls, and there have been a lot of studies on this, the vast majority, and it's like 80%, are autistic. And so we're trying to figure out as parents and as doctors and as activists, I guess, in all these different roles that we have, how are we going to come at this? And I just think that as a father, I would accept either of my kids being gay or trans. Like I wouldn't have a problem with it. But then when it comes to these procedures, when your brain isn't fully developed yet, and a decision like this, like my son can't decide on small things and these big things, I worry that we kind of rush into it. We're also in a climate where we can't even talk about detransitioning statistics without being called transphobic.
First off, detransitioning statistics, you can talk about them. I don't consider that transphobic in any possible way. It happens. Okay. There are people who have to, like, I've heard of more, like, I can never remember the numbers, and I feel shitty not coming here with specific concrete numbers because I know that's what you guys are more about. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've really got into it, but
I think it's hilarious. You think we're about numbers?
Yeah, I was about to say.
I know you're
about 28
is about
grams.
Concrete.
28 grams.
I know Dean's about more concrete information,
yeah,
but
like
anyways,
a lot of weed. Gene.
These kids.
That's 1 out of 6 bags. But yeah.
The thing is, there's no such. There might be like the kids who want to follow what they think is cool. That's not really. How do I say it the best?
They're not going the distance.
If a trans kid is trans, you will have seen like signs of this for a very long period of time in their life. Like, for instance, myself, I cross-dressed as a kid. My mom had caught me several times. She even told me at one point, she said these words, "I have a son, not a daughter," to me once when I got caught. And that was actually what pushed me really deep into the closet about it. And that's from that point on, it was like, okay, I was like way under the radar.
What were your favorites? What were your favorite numbers to wear back then? Like, which ones did you go, I look pretty good in this? Do you remember that? Do you remember what your youngest age where you're like, I really want to try that on? You try it on. You're like, and I mean that, like, this feels natural to me.
Just anything really. I can't. It was so long ago, dude. I'm 37. Like, I can't remember what happened when I was like 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you will see the signs of this beforehand. Now, obviously, with science, there are always those few fringe things, and but
sorry,
the general there are people who will be like, oh yeah, maybe I am trans, and then never really thought about it beforehand, but maybe they just didn't have the vocabulary back then for it or something like that, which is a lot of people like my age who didn't have that vocabulary growing up. But there are a lot of warning signs, like 90% in the 90s of trans people in general have attempted suicide have attempted it. So
yeah, I don't know if you saw the study. I think it was a Dutch study. I'll send it to you after the podcast if you like.
Yeah, for sure.
Where they talk about the statistics are negligible as far as suicide rate goes from before transitioning to after transitioning. There's a lot of data that's out there that I mean, I think that I have no business. I have no business
Don't
trying to
choose
tell.
your words with me. It's fine. You can tell me exactly what you think.
I know, but I'm still, you know, I still want to be careful, right? Like,
don't be,
because you know, because I just want to be polite, right? Like,
no, it's fine.
So, I just want to reiterate that I'm not denying the existence of trans people. I'm not saying you said that. I'm not saying
I don't think you do.
But I just want to preamble that.
I think he does.
Yeah.
No, I don't. But I think that there's a lot of women that were on my mom's softball team that would have been deemed trans if they grew up in the 2000s. And I've talked to them about it. So these are the people I grew up with. I grew up among lesbians, right? And I've talked to a couple of them about it. They're like 65-year-old lesbians now. And they're like, and they talked about it with me because I think it's a generational thing, mostly these differences of opinions on what children can decide, and no long-term studies, but let's just, you know, do the injections. And there are, the UK right now is being hit with a lot of data that people don't know how to digest. Things like, you know, the suicide rates being negligible, things like puberty blockers actually causing harm, things like an increase in suicidal thoughts and actions after taking certain puberty blockers. Like, there are things out there that we need to like make sure. Like, I have 2 kids. There's no chance in hell that I would allow unresearched like significant medications like that to go inside their bodies. To me, that's a bigger risk than risking their sadness because they're confused and they don't know why they're in this body. That is sad, but it doesn't have a physical risk to it as much as, well, it does. It has an abstract risk of things like suicide. I understand that, but there's no chemical that could kill them because we don't have enough research, or that could harm them irreparably. Like, we don't have enough, right?
But that comes down to more of a like the suicidality rate and things like that also comes down to a mental health issue as well at that point in time. If you are completely disgusted by your body at no matter what age you are, and the thought of going through the wrong puberty with irreversible effects, you know, that's where a lot of the damage can come from. And what the research has proven is that if there are any adverse effects when it comes to the blockers at a young age, they are generally negated because most kids have a much fuller life. Now, mind you, with the suicidality rates, like you were saying, when kids have access to these transition medications and things like that, it doesn't change sometimes. Is that what you're kind of getting at as well?
Well, a little bit, but just back for a second. There are some complications that last forever that don't go back to normal, like deepening voice and facial hair and things like that. If you wanted to detransition, I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, well, testosterone is what does that. It's that medication, testosterone, that will give you the deeper voice or the facial hair. If you are on a blocker, you won't have that. You will just stay your pre-puberty self until you come off of that blocker. Or
is there any kind of happy medium, Zoe, where I can take some of these blockers? Because I hate shaving.
Take some estrogen and also keep your prostate smaller.
This
if you
is
have
annoying.
With that.
In a couple of weeks, you could just use a pint of Lachlan's blood to get all that estrogen.
But from other soy, I get warnings.
Lachlan, if you don't mind.
Hey,
I had another
Zoe.
Another point. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question, because I think that this might be a way that we can transition, and I probably shouldn't have used that word, but let's say somebody came to you and said, Zoe, my kid is thinking that they are something that they're not.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a parent? Because as much as I understand what you're saying, I'm also hearing what James is saying. And I would be, as a parent, I would have been terrified about the prospect of having my child want to do something like this. Well, and I don't think that's me being transphobic either. I think that's a legitimate concern of any parent, whether if they're being honest.
It's fucking scary no matter what you do. Sorry, Dean.
I just wanted to jump in, and then I want you to just finish explaining. But my jumping in is I want to come back to touch on those two fears, because James has brought parenthood into it and Locke has brought parenthood into it. So go ahead. I just wanted to put a pin in that so we can come back.
Yeah, no worries. So to answer your first question is what I would suggest to you if your child came to you like this is make an appointment, do some research with a doctor that if you don't have a family doctor that specializes in it or has any information on it, speak with one about that knows the gender confirmation, gender that specializes in gender issues. Sorry, I only slept like 3 hours last night. So, but or there also is a lot of support groups. Like I used to work. I don't work there anymore. I got to preface that with the Canadian Mental Health Association, and we used to do a program called Gender Journeys, which help people identify these issues within themselves or within their children or whoever it is, to see if they fall into this group and things like that, like into the having actual gender dysphoria and going off from there. So that's what I would say. What was the other part again you're asking? Fuck.
I think you answered it. I think you basically eased my.
I got a question, Zoe.
But the other thing I wanted to say, sorry, Darren, just the one thing I wanted to say is that I do not wish this on anybody, even my utmost worst enemy. This is not only the scariest thing, but one of the hardest things. When it comes to religions, none of them agree on anything. The one thing that they agree on is how much they hate trans people, and they treat you get treated like shit whether you're a kid and you're trans or you're an adult and you're trans. I've seen kids get heckled by full-grown adults because of the way they dress or things like that. So it's not anything anybody wants to do. And if there are people out there who do want to do this because they think it's cool or whatever, they're fucking idiots. You don't want to go through this in your life. It sucks.
And that's my point.
I was just wondering.
That was my point the other day when we were talking about this, which was, and I know James has an opinion on people that take advantage of being able to claim.
Yeah, that was another thing I wanted to talk about too.
Silly, stupid gender identity, right? Like it's silly and stupid when someone does it as a riff or a joke or just one of those things, or because they're a pervert and they want to get put in Gen Pop with a bunch of women at a female jail. I'm going to tell you right now, these people aren't fucking normal, and so we'll find out.
From what I hear, I don't know personally.
And so that's my point, I guess, and why I thought it was really cool that and not done obviously with Zoe, but that she come on, because that was what I really got out of this is that the people that you're concerned about or people are concerned about in the trans community are such an infinitesimal small group of lunatics that it misrepresents it for everybody. Sort of like white supremacists misrepresent, everyday people who are white who happen to not be racist dicks, right? Same thing with the Black Lives Matter movement. There's a militant group of that misrepresents the movement, which is why, people sit and talk about, do you support the movement or do you support the people? There's always going to be that faction. And that faction shouldn't be of anybody's concern other than the people dealing with it legally. You know what I mean? Because
but
what I'm getting out of Zoe is, fuck, those people are nuts. We don't even think about those people.
Yeah.
Can I ask Zoe? Can I ask you a question? We have probably a lot that we're not going to be able to cover. But what do you think of the word TERF? And what do you think about J.K. Rowling?
As I told Dean on the last time I was here, she's a fucking idiot, and I don't support her in any possible way.
What was it specifically that she said that was so?
I can't remember. My brain is not working today. I'm sorry. But it was basically, she just said that we don't exist and that the trans exclusionary feminist movement is not feminism at all, because feminism stands for everybody equally, not, pick and choose who you want. TERFs also believe that trans men are actually still women, as well as, me still being a man. Like, pretty much most people think that anyways, but they're
is it transphobic? Because I want to learn from different aspects. I've really talked to a lot of militant activists, and so I mean, is it transphobic to say this individual on a chromosomal level, biological level, male, and inside it feels female and is transitioning to become a female, but at a chromosomal level will always remain male? Right.
My question is, do you know what my chromosomes are?
Yes.
You do? Because I don't. I've never got them checked.
Well, you were born a male, right?
I was born with male parts, yeah, but I don't.
Right.
I've never had because their chromosomes can be multitude of different things. One of the more believable theories when it comes to
that I'm missing
what,
several. So
yeah, one of the more believable theories when it comes to why trans people are trans people is because I remember reading about it. It was a while ago, but it was a lot of trans people can be traced back to a traumatic time while they were in utero, basically in their while they were still being made, basically
during gestation, I believe.
Yeah,
gestation. You're looking for.
Again, 3 hours. I drove for like 14 hours yesterday, but so like for me, my mom went several months of. She almost lost me several times. And what had happened was how they think it is. And again, they can't prove it yet because it's just not enough of people. But when that traumatic thing happens, the testosterone is then added because we're all technically start off female anyways. So the testosterone's added at a wrong time. And it's kind of like it's a hard sell. I get it, but it's the only theory that I can see. So like it basically comes down to like a traumatic event in womb that they think might be the cause for a lot of people. And for a lot of people that I have actually personally talked to, they have all said, "Oh yeah, my mom said they were, bedridden, or this happened or whatever." So I can believe it. I can't prove it, but that's just what I've heard as well.
Just a theory.
I got 2 questions, Zoey.
Theory. Yeah, go ahead.
2 questions. Number 1, is it legal to drive 14 hours?
Well, it wasn't 14. It was like 13.
Is it legal to drive 13 hours?
Yes, I can legally drive for 13 hours. I'm allowed
really?
to do that. Yeah.
I don't think it's like that in America. I think it's under 10.
No, it's not. It's 10 for you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Second question, and again, I'm going to preface it with a joke protocol. So you've been doing it a long time. You'd be considered a pro. So we're talking about kids now, and whatever age children. Would they be considered a Trans Am?
Oh, Darren.
You're fucked.
Not my best work, but I'll take it.
Oh, jeez. But
thanks for doing this.
Pro.
Thanks for doing this, Zoey. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me again. And I do know more things than trans issues. So if you guys ever need a non-white guy, even though I'm not completely not a white guy.
You're not white?
You're a white girl.
Oh, I thought you meant you're not white. I was like, well, you're white. I'm pretty sure you're white.
No, I'm definitely white. I'm definitely
okay. Yeah. You're like whiter than I am, which is crazy.
I got the sun hitting.
Not whiter than Dean, though. Just kidding.
Generally pretty dark in the summer.
Thanks for doing this.
I want to talk more about J.K. Rowling next time I talk to you, because we totally disagree on that. But it would be nice to, to talk to someone reasonable, because you seem very rational and reasonable, and a lot of people talk about this stuff are not. I don't like the word TERFs. I don't like the word TERFs because I think that it just jumps to a conclusion. I think that I want you to live the best life possible. I do think that trans women and women are different things. I just think they're not quite the same. And that's not dehumanizing, because they're still equals. I just don't think that they're the same things. That's all.
I know Dean wants me to go, but because I feel like he's got something else to talk about. But I do want to say, though, when it comes to you were talking about the sports thing as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Look at so quickly the Olympic the Olympic Committee has allowed trans people to compete in sports for a while now, as long as they follow proper hormone guidelines and things like that. One thing I ask you is, are there a lot of trans women absolutely destroying in the Olympics, which is supposed to be like the pinnacle sport? Do you even
right
hear
now,
of any?
no, but it will happen.
There are some in there, and they don't.
How long have they been allowing trans people into the Olympics?
And here's the thing. Here's the thing: is that I don't even know why. I don't even know why that matters. I'm looking forward to that. I want to see that. I want to see everybody upset the fruit basket and see who comes in first. If that's really equality at its finest, and someone's like, hey, I identify as a female, and they go in and destroy everybody in high jump, I want to see it. Without
you want to see it like the same way you want to see a car accident, though. Right?
There
You want to see
are
it,
no, I don't. I want to see the end result of all the work.
The end result is going to be busted up women who are going to be fucking injured.
But that's
so why do you
that's
care?
That's not proven. That's not proven. What's proven is the fact that there are trans people who do compete in these sports, and they aren't destroying. Like, they are low on the list.
I could give you like 6 examples off the top of my head that are just like ridiculous. Okay, so there's the mixed martial arts fighter that shattered a woman's skull.
Fallon Fox. I'm actually I do know her personally to an extent. She is not undefeated. I didn't
say she was, but she's also lied when she first got there, so she didn't tell anyone.
No, she didn't lie. She just
she didn't tell anyone. So she didn't tell anyone that her bone density was better. She didn't tell anyone that
her bone density isn't better when you're on. No, it's not.
It is. You can't get
telling
rid
you
of.
It's not. Personally, I know this from a fact. When you're on estrogen for over a year, you lose your bone density. It happens.
What about your muscle memory, your muscle mass, your speed, your upper body strength?
It's gone. It's completely gone.
Estrogen levels the playing field when it comes to that kind of stuff a little bit. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
100%.
It does not level it. Not even close.
Yeah, but it does. I'm telling you right now. I've spoken with
I'm going with
Fox.
the committed trans woman who's had reassignment surgery on this one.
You know what I think we should do? We should end it here with, I will say this, Zoe. I respect anybody who figures out who the fuck they are and is comfortable with it.
Me too.
End the story.
I salute you.
And then, and that's what I look for. I mean, you can sit here. We could sit here all day. We could go till 10 o'clock tonight, coming up with all the reasons why it's a good idea or a bad idea. At the end of the day, I think that's what I look for. And in my life, as I try to become a better person, that's what I'm trying to figure out who the fuck I am, do a better job at that, and care less about what other people are fucking doing. Right. Yeah. And that's the people that I gravitate towards in my life. I found over the years are comfortable with who they are, and they're the types of people who are, you know what, they're honest about who they are.
Genuine.
Genuine fucking people. And whether you have a dick or a pussy or boobs or all of it, it doesn't fucking matter.
Two dicks? What about 2 dicks and a vagina?
I would like all of that.
I have 2 dicks every time I'm on a podcast with Dean and Lachlan.
What about me? I'm a dick.
But no, Jay,
I'm saying you're not a dick. Well, you're always late.
I want to be in the dick group.
Well, you are late all the time, so that's a dick move.
James, if you do want to talk about it, like, I'm always open for it, but like there are extensive studies when it comes to like muscle mass and things like that. It almost completely levels the playing field, if not completely levels the playing field when it comes to estrogen.
Yeah, that's the thing is that both of you guys, both of you, and I say the royal guys, both Zoe and James are like, there's been studies, and this study says this. I don't see any proof of shit from either of you. Next time I want sources.
Proof? I'll give you proof.
I get it. I get it.
I used to do non-emergency patient transfer in Toronto area. Mm-hmm. I did it before my transition and during my transition. I can tell you 100% that not changing anything that I did, I could not lift half of what I could after my transition than I could before.
That's when you were
and again, I'm going
my personal experience. That was my personal experience. So just from that alone, I can tell you right now, and the fact that I've never broken a bone in my life, after my transition, I've broken bones. So again, this is my own personal experience. I can't say it's studies. I will try to look shit up for you and maybe give you some information.
I was more directing that at James. I think, the sexual reassignment surgery and the work that went into that's probably a good indicator that your numbers are sound.
What does one have to do with the other?
I just want your numbers. I want your sources. I want your numbers. This British study you talked about, I want to see it.
Yeah, like in high school, show your work.
Yeah, show your work. I want to see it long form.
Yeah, I'm down for learning. So if you got
there's so much information out there, but yeah.
Well, let's see it. Let's see it. I want to see long form because
don't challenge me like this on the air.
I like doing it. I kind of think in terms of what Lachlan said, and Lachlan had a really great way to say it, where he was like, you listen, the goal here is for everybody to actually enjoy their life and the respect that we have for people who've been able to figure it out. And I go back to that conversation I had with Zoey probably about 2-3 months ago, where we were discussing what it was like to transition, what it was like to commit to have your dick and balls cut off and thrown in the garbage. What it was like
a couple years later.
Yeah. No, but what it was like to commit to that whole process. And the only decision that you had in the whole thing was, I do it or I die.
Yeah.
Like I take these extreme steps that society will tell me and has been telling everybody for years that this is not what you should do, or whether or not you're a freak. Like this is how they talked about human beings who decided that they had to do this to be happy because that's how they identified. We never took time to stop and listen and imagine. We never took time to listen to someone who's been through it and to go through, really serious surgery or die when you're seemingly in perfect health. I mean, how can anybody, and that's my opinion, I could be wrong, how anybody could have an opinion that where you're going to tell someone in that position how it really is. I don't get that part.
Okay, well then when I meet a person that actually does that, I'll be with you with my jaw open. But I don't know who did that.
Who did what?
I don't know. What are you talking about? Like, are you referring to anything specific? I don't understand. Thank you.
I'm referring to Zoey. That's what Zoey
I thought you were talking about my conversation with you just now.
No. I'm just reasserting what Zoey did. My overall understanding of how to be empathetic to the trans community, right? Because that lived with me after that conversation. That lived with me. It was one of those conversations that you have with people where you're like, my God, I didn't know it was that critical. I didn't know this person felt that way, because when you have depression, it's universal. Everybody gets it. We all understand it, right? When you're sad, when you're anxious, when you're depressed, it's like the one thing you want to get out. But that's what literally Zoey had to do so that she could be happy. And that's where I'm at with, when someone says, what's your opinion on, transitioning when you're under 16? I'm like, I am not in that person's experience. I can't be in that person's experience. So why would I comment on that person's experience, right? We can talk about and pick issues, when someone abuses the community or misrepresents the community. I mean, those are separate issues, but overall in general, and for a guy who loves having an opinion on everything everybody does, and growing up in the time that I did, I'm fucking thankful I feel this way, because it's way easier, right?
Yeah. I wish I didn't have to go through this shit. Like, fuck, I love my wife. I still kind of do. Like, I loved my
we all
having my
kind of
kid
love our
around all
wives,
the
but just kind of.
That
doesn't change.
All joking aside, these conversations are important, Dean and Zoey, because for us as guys to understand what you went through and to also grow and be more empathetic from it. And secondly, probably more importantly, others are going to watch this podcast, watch this show, and might learn a thing or two from it.
I just wanted to point out that when like the activists, like the loud ones, are probably not doing you any favors, but that's not unique to the trans community. That's an activist thing. So you'll find that that activists are reluctant to share statistics that sort of go against part of what they might claim or say. And I think what that does is make people think, oh, there's a dishonest, so no one's doing it in good faith and that kind of thing. But I think that your journey was probably treacherous, probably something I couldn't handle. And I think that you're probably climbing out of it like a completely different philosophically and physically, obviously, and emotionally. And I think I would never try to take that away from anybody.
No, I don't think you
never
do.
In a million years. Yeah.
I don't think you're a terrible person if that's what you're trying to keep yourself. I think you're
wrong about that.
I think
buddy.
you're a very smart person. I think you are passionate about what you say, but I just don't want to see any misinformation get spread is more of my concern. I don't want to see.
We should follow this up
with
our impasse, which is that I think that is a clear advantage, trans women in women's sports, and you do not. So that will be the one thing that I'll be interested in seeing your data.
I just want to see it. That's all.
Until I see a trans woman on any podium, and like real trans woman, not somebody who's like, I'm gonna go beat the women's deadlifting record today. Like, If I see
you got to
one
admit that
that's
was a
gone
boss
through the
move,
process,
Zoey. That was a boss
what's that?
move. That was a boss move by just identifying
Wow.
as a female and then lifting 300 pounds more than any other female ever did.
It's shit. It annoys me because it makes us look stupid. But when I see one on any of the podiums at any like games or anything like that, then I'll be more inclined to think your direction. But at this point in time, it's just not there yet. Like there's nobody there. And like I said, I've talked to Fallon. I've personally talked to Fallon about those fights, and like every other person that she fought, other than that one that said she hit harder than anybody, had said that it was no different of a fight. Like they didn't feel like there was any advantage. I think she's like only like 50% win. I think she only did like 3 or 4 fights, and I think she only won 1 or 2 of them. I can't remember off the top of my head now. But I can tell you she's been beaten by women. She's obviously beat women as well. That's just how you train. As far as that goes, anything Joe Rogan says about trans people, just take it with a grain of salt, because I stopped listening to him because of his transphobic bullshit. So
I don't think he's transphobic.
I think he is 100%. Everything that I've heard him say, especially when he's the biggest spreader of misinformation than anybody. So again, I just don't.
See, now I want to talk. I've never listened to a second of a Joe Rogan podcast, so I can't tell
I used to, and then there's a few things he would go off on these tangents.
He has very strong opinions about men transitioning into women and then fighting in anti-combat sports, and he's very vocal about it. It comes up,
and I do agree with him on that.
I would say it comes up, Dean, at least once a week on his podcast.
Why? Mm-hmm. But why bother? Like, if it's not happening,
he talks about fighting.
Why bother?
The why bother is important. It's because like you'll find in a BBC story that I could send you that I'm looking at right now that there's a lot of scientists and doctors, when they get data that doesn't line up with the sort of trans narrative, that they fear for losing their job if they report this data, because the cultural is such where it's like you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to bother anybody. If Joe Rogan talks about something, oh, he's transphobic. It's been weaponized.
But there's politics and everything, James.
Exactly.
No, but this one's different. And this one is a little bit different.
Because you know how I interpret that stuff. I know, but listen, I'm not saying you can't say it. How I interpret anybody that says, "Hey, we need to guard against this." In the community, we're like in the new frontier of this stuff, and it's such a fucking hot argument, which is crazy. But we're the new frontier. Let it happen. I wasn't joking. Let it breathe. Let everything settle. Let's see where it goes. If there's a woman who wants to transition into being a man and she thinks she can, take out Usain Bolt in a 100-meter dash, let it fucking happen. Not only would the whole thing be incredibly entertaining, but if it does happen, we're going to learn how to figure it all out.
It's already happening. It's just not happening at the Olympics, but it's happening everywhere else. It's happening at universities. Records being broken. It's happening.
Great. Let's see.
Records do get broken though. That's the thing. It's not en masse. Would see a lot more. You would see way more news stories on this shit if it was happening on mass.
No, you wouldn't, because journalism is the same as the medical field.
Zoey,
Fox News would love any fucking reason to badmouth
anybody. Right, you would get fired from almost every other network for talking about it in a way that's not lining up with the narrative. And
James is right, and that's where James ends up getting himself into trouble, because he ends up coming off like he doesn't think that he is transphobic. When his problem isn't about whether or not you transition, he doesn't give 2 flying fucks. What he cares about is the fact that there's an inequity in reporting on things. And we see it every podcast.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you a quick example. The whole dead naming thing, the fatal flaw in dead naming is that sometimes there are Jonathan Yanivs in the world who I don't even consider trans.
Just the ball.
I think that he is a straight male predator. He's a sexual predator. Right. But I had articles pulled for calling him my headline was, his name is Jonathan Yaniv. And this was after all of the stuff came out about him texting girls and stuff. And I still got the article pulled. It was pulled off Twitter.
That's bullshit, personally.
Right. But that's what all I'm saying is that's what's happening. And that's happening because people are afraid to be seen as transphobic, because a lot of things that are deemed to be transphobic are probably not.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part. Like, I believe that they should be putting out proper science-based evidence, no matter what it comes up as. It's very difficult to filter through that shit. I get it. But, Jonathan Yanev is a fucking dude, and I think you getting your story pulled for that is bullshit, because he's a fucking male predator who's using us as a reason to be a predator.
Right.
That's the thing, is that James, you won't find a better advocate for those douchebags than James. Like, you won't.
Yeah.
He hates them.
What douchebags?
The Jonathan Yanevs, like the guys.
Oh,
the guys.
I thought you meant
around,
people that used to work on the edge.
No, not just me. The guys who parade around as female and then walk into and I watched our promo when we were talking about this last time. I know you appreciated it. Walking around into estheticians' offices going, "Hey guys, can you wax my balls?"
It's
and my
people
taint?
like,
"Hey guys."
Yeah.
Fuck
him.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, I mean, and like dozens and dozens and dozens of times. So you're not going to find a better, advocate than our man James DiFiore.
What's sad about it though is that, I mean, Zoey has her battles and her mountains that she needs to climb, right?
Yeah.
And
bathroom, biggest issue.
Every fucking day you're dealing with your shit, and then you got this dick, and then you got all this other stuff that you have to deal with that isn't even, it's completely out of your hands, right?
Yeah.
So
what do you mean bathroom? Explain what it's like to use a shitter just in general.
I can't count how many times I have been barged into the bathroom by a guy telling me that I'm in the wrong bathroom when I'm sitting on the toilet just going pee. I have started using porta potties over stopping at actual bathrooms because I'm fucking tired of being treated like shit. Every time I ask where's the washroom, the employee or whoever it is very, no matter what, is very obvious about making sure that they point out where the male bathroom is. And it's like, are
you able to pee standing up?
I do have a little thing that helps me with that.
You showed that. I remember the funnel.
Yeah. It's basically a funnel. So I use that
for
at
old
like
time's
porta potties a lot of the time. But
do you ever use it to change your oil while you're at it, like dual purpose?
It's too small. It would go through too quick. It would go through too slowly. But like, it's assholes like that make it difficult for me to just take a piss.
Yeah.
And I fucking hate those people. So
keep in mind, Zoe, we're living in a society, just based on what's going on in the news cycle around the world, where racism is still a gigantic problem, and it shouldn't be. So something like this, I think, in my opinion, falls underneath racism. Like, racism is a big, big problem that's facing us
it's huge.
Here and right now. Agree. And then I think this falls somewhere underneath that. So if racism's a problem, then transphobia rather is you're gonna see it. Especially in the bumfuck
what Darren's
Canada.
saying is you're going to have to get in line.
The line's already in the queue. But if you're in buttfuck Nova Scotia or buttfuck British Columbia or Alberta or wherever you travel with your truck,
Alberta,
literally no town named buttfuck.
I wish there was, because that'd be a great song. Welcome to buttfuck. You're going to experience this. I'm sure you have. I'm sure you do every day.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask a question real quick? Zoe, what's the most anti-trans friendly province as a long haul trucker? What province do you enter into when you says
Saskatchewan?
Welcome to the province of blank, and you're like,
Saskatchewan.
Oh, fuck, I can't
It's
piss
gotta
for
be
another
Saskatchewan.
Makes
province.
sense.
Basically anything north of
Toronto.
Toronto.
East or west.
Anything north of Windsor is pretty bad.
Yeah, it's. I was in Brampton today, and I had some lady try to made sure she told me which one was the man's bathroom. So,
are you in Ontario right now?
What's that?
Are you in Ontario right now?
Yeah, I'm in Whitby actually right now.
Hey,
James's shirt. Yeah.
what up?
Whitby.
where-
I'm from Whitby. I grew up there.
Oh yeah. My family's from Oshawa, so I know the area.
Just
Never walked alone.
Shame.
next time you have a bathroom problem, Zoe, just fucking pull down and take a shit right there.
Right on the
that,
floor.
that'll endear people to the trans cause.
It's really hard to do that when it's minus 36 out. I don't know how you guys fucking deal with that out in Alberta. Like, I woke up
They just
yesterday
lean
morning
against
and it
their
was
pee as it freezes
cold.
and as it comes out. Like a
basically,
fountain.
yeah, it was
Like a piss
fucking
fountain.
cold.
But you're a trucker. I would have thought you would have had pissing figured out by now. Like
Oh yeah,
don't
if
you
I
have,
have to.
don't you have like, because I had a buddy that had a catheter, like a condom catheter. And if he knew he was going for like 20 hours straight, which he knew was also illegal, he would just piss into the catheter. He's like, it's brilliant. I don't even notice sometimes that I'm pissing. And I'm like, I don't think that's a great thing for your blood. Like, I don't think that's cool. But he's like, no, when you're a trucker, you have to figure out exactly how to truck, and pissing and shitting is a big deal when you got to get, from San Antonio to Tempe, Arizona in a certain period of time. You don't have time to sit and stop. And so I would have thought you would have had that figured out. So shame on you.
That's not a long drive. That's a bad.
Pissing is easy. Pissing's easy. I just hop out and kind of go. Like I got these like arrow fins on the back of my truck. I just kind of hide in there and go. Shitting. I'm of the type, I've never been somebody who goes every day. So like, I just try to go whenever I'm at the truck stop.
I go 3 times a day.
Dude, I go like
I'm really
4
glad
times
that we're
a day.
entering the chapter of the podcast where we're talking about our goddamn fucking bowel movements. It's amazing.
We're on
tour, Zoey, on tour with Goldfinger, we
shit.
take a garbage bag and put it in the toilet because you're not supposed to shit on the tour buses. And we shit in the toilet with a garbage bag. And then we take the garbage bag and throw it out the window.
All they had to do was pour shit down the toilet, and it made it so that it didn't stink. Like I don't understand.
You had to pay more as a guy or a company that rents the bus. To get
really?
Shit ready, you have to pay much more. Yeah, the driver's got to put the stuff down there and then go to a special tank to drop off the shit. It's a whole procedure, and you pay through the nose for it.
That's right. You're a filthy animal. You got to pay a premium for that shit.
Did I ever tell you about the time we were on I won't, the beer company will remain nameless, but it was a beer company sponsored bus to go to a Jack Johnson concert. Did I ever tell you about this? And I had about 4,000 beers get on the bus. Yeah, I don't want to say.
It's one of the 2 Canadian brands, and it's not Labatt. So there you go.
You're telling beer company stories on a podcast with radio people.
It was like
you know what it was company.
Like? It was like I had to piss so bad. The shooting pain from like my abdomen to the tip of my wiener was like unbelievable. I'm like, I gotta piss. So they're like, you can't piss on the bus because the bathroom doesn't work. There's like a lock on it. I'm like, Jesus. And we're stuck in traffic leaving this concert, and the pain was excruciating. So I pulled the back window open and started to piss. Right. And it's all tinted, and I've got it kind of covered so you can't see my wiener and stuff. And I'm talking and laughing. I was there with Jeremy Taggart from Our Lady Peace and a bunch of my friends. And as I'm peeing, I hear, what is this? It's warm. It's warm. What's happening? And I look down and I turn, and the pee is splashing off the back of a convertible BMW with 2 young girls in the back and tube tops, and two preppy douchers, because it was a Jack Johnson show, in the front. And we're stuck. I can't move. And I'm peeing on the back of this BMW, and everybody's going, hey, why are you peeing on us?
You didn't look first?
Dude, I had to pee so bad I was going to die if I didn't.
It's like a BMW. They deserve it. So
yeah,
somebody.
Were they pissed off?
You're in trouble.
They were pissed on.
All right.
My favorite part is how uncomfortable James is whenever we get to bathroom talk.
my piss stories. I pissed on Windsor Castle in London or in England.
Oh, congratulations!
And I got looks. I was so drunk.
I took a dump at Westminster Abbey once.
We were day off. I was pissing on the castle, and I had my drum check on my back. He's like, "I bet you can't piss with me on your back." I'm like, "Watch me."
Yeah. I have the
right
worst
by the castle.
story.
I pissed on the castle wall, and people were walking by like.
I have the most embarrassing story ever.
You were just making fun of us from telling these stories.
No, I know, but
like,
now I got one. Well, if you can't beat them, join them, right? I'm trying to be amicable.
We all
here.
have piss stories. I want to hear them.
So obviously I have I don't want anyone to hear me poo or smell it or know that I'm doing it. Like I just fucking hate that. I don't go poo. I don't go shit in public. I'll fucking hold that thing in for like 48 hours if I have to. Right. Anyways, I went to Bon Echo with my
I love that place.
With my wife and my in-laws, and you get like 5 or 10 acres or something like that. That's just yours. But the fucking facilities that they have is like this bamboo seat. It's like a chair. There's no walls. It's just sitting there in the middle of the forest, right? And you're like, oh, fuck, okay. So I was like, guys, stay the fuck here, right? And they're like, okay, yeah, your thing that you hate. And I go and I sit down and I'm like, I feel like it's going to be like a 3-minute job or something like that. And then 30 seconds later, like 18 joggers just appear and start jogging towards me. And I'm just like this, with my pants down to my fucking ankles. I'm just covering my face. Like, and they're like, hey, how's it going? I'm just like, fuck off. Like, get the fuck away from me, you know?
I could sit here for the next hour and tell you guys poo stories.
Dude, the piece was as big as your head, James. It was amazing.
Are you an at-home pooer, James?
Yes, solely. I am an extremist when it comes to defecating.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish I could do it.
I don't think I have a funny poo story.
Oh, it's okay. It's all
right.
I'm
going to save mine for next week so that we can
My-
spread it out.
Yeah, spread it out. Just smear it from one episode to the next.
Go ahead, Zoe. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say my ex had Crohn's in a bag, and I've helped her with that, so I got used to shit. So it's really no big deal.
I got a funny ejaculate story.
She just anteed up the shit story, didn't she? Like,
you
guys
Actually,
think that's cool. I got colostomy bag experience to go.
You notice I didn't talk about my shit. I just talked about how embarrassing it was to be seen sitting.
Yeah,
right?
That's why it wasn't interesting.
When we
James,
went to the
I'm like that too,
Colorado
bro.
show,
I hate when you're at an airport like Heathrow or O'Hare or a big Pearson, and you're at a big airport and you're sitting in the stall and there's 20 rows, 20 stalls, and you're trying to poop quietly, and the guy next to you is just like dying.
That's fucking Lachlan right beside you. So.
Then the guy to your right,
dude, that's called fart baseball.
Dying, being loud and obnoxious, pooping loudly. Farting, and you're like, oh my god! And
that's called fart baseball.
I have no way to identify with that because I've never done that.
When I make noises like that, I always say, "Excuse me."
I'm not a loud
voice coming from the distance.
I'm not a loud guy. I'm quick. I'm like you. I'm in radio, right? My claim to fame is I can take a shit during a Ramones song, and that includes a hand washing.
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow.
Oh,
that's impressive.
Yeah, you
I'm
have
a long
to.
shitter. I'll read a text, read some emails, play some.
When I was in a relationship, I used the bathroom like it was my study. It was like I'm gonna go to the bathroom. She's like, "You've had 41 shits today." I'm like, a lot of fiber.
I'm hiding from you.
Maybe that's exactly how I used the bathroom, right? And by the end of it, my legs were numb, but I had a high score on Golf Clash.
Oh, I fucking hate when your legs go down while you're taking the dump. That's
anybody
terrible.
have a best shitter game real quick before we go? Best shitter game on your phone? Do you have a shitter game?
I don't even have time.
I watch YouTube.
That's the game.
You watch YouTube?
Yeah.
Shitter game? What's a shitter game?
Oh, it's like a video game that you play on your phone.
Angry Birds.
Yeah.
Darren's Angry Birds.
Yeah. Good shitter game.
What is this, 2012? Come on, Angry Birds?
Flappy Birds.
Yes.
Flappy Bird, all the bird games.
Oh,
Golf Clash. You guys want a great shitter game? It's very relaxing. The background noises of like birds and stuff. It's incredible how it hustles the shit along. But seriously, Golf Clash. Get in.
Let's get James a shirt. At home pooper.
Every time I think of my stepmother, the shit comes right out. It just slides right out like a dick on her face when she worked at that whorehouse.
Okay. You love her, don't you?
He took a look. He just took a look into the next room.
No, I didn't. I looked out the window, satisfied and gratified
to see if your wife was driving into the driveway.
My wife knows she's a cunt. Not my wife. My wife knows my stepmother.
Oh my God, she's gonna see this. She's gonna see this.
No, she's not. She doesn't care about the things that I do. Do you think she's interested in this shit?
James goes so far out of his way to settle a score with someone he doesn't hate in conversations that have absolutely nothing to do with it. Like we could be.
My stepmother's a fucking whore. She's a literal whore. She served time for attempted murder while working as a whore. Like she was a hooker. Disgusting. She left a trail wherever she went. It's just so gross.
Wow. Was she an at-home pooper?
She fucking probably ate it afterwards and went, like
she's not on your Christmas card list.
No. Her when my father died, her son was like, "I'm really sorry about your loss," and I was like, "Yeah, your mother's a cunt." And that was it. That was my communication with him. So.
Note to self: don't invite James to your funeral.
Listen, I'm talking about my stepmother when I just said I wouldn't talk about shit. So here we are.
We could be talking about how many carrots go into a split pea and ham soup, and James would find a way to work in, by the way, my mother-in-law is a cunt.
Yeah. And it's funny.
That's right.
When you
There's
look at
never
the
an inappropriate
timeline,
time to talk about her cuntiness. That's right.
when you look at the timeline, Dean, we went from trans issues and trans concerns to poop to my step or my
That's
mother.
the natural progression. Shit, James's stepmom.
Trans issues, shit, and a cunt. She's a cunt.
Right.
We just transitioned the whole show.
Attaboy.
Nice work,
All right.
Zoey.
We're not talking about anything else because that's enough. But
Before we go,
thank
Dean,
you.
really quick, what are your thoughts on Gina Carano?
Oh, the chick from The Mandalorian?
She's kind of dumb,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, she lost her
I
job
didn't
today.
think that was controversial.
She got fired.
You didn't think it was
She got
controversial?
fired.
I didn't think it was worth getting fired for. Like, what did she say?
I
That
do.
Some people
Well, it wasn't
behave
just
against.
she compared the cancel culture to like Germans going after Jews. And
Yeah,
She
she
said-
didn't mean that we were putting people in ovens, though. Like, she did not.
How do
mean
you
that.
know what she meant? You
that's-
can't
but
talk
that's
about
the straw
that
that-
kind of
James,
stuff.
that's the straw that broke the
Yes.
camel's back. She was super QAnon, super Trump,
Yeah,
super
yeah.
stuff.
Oh, was she? Oh, then she needs to
God.
get canceled just for that. Then.
And they,
All you
no.
have to say was
They
QAnon. I
warned
would've
her.
been
They're like,
yeah,
you might
fire
want to
that.
bring it down a bit. Her co-host and producers like, hey, Gina, you're like at a 10. We need you at like a 2.
Her-
okay, cool. And
Her
she just
tweet,
kept blasting
the
away.
final tweet was, she said, being a Republican in the United States of America is like being a Jew in Nazi Germany.
Yeah, sloppy, stupid, all that thing.
Dumb.
But she should have
It's
got
dumb.
fired for the QAnon thing, not for that.
And
That's all.
dangerous. No, it's like,
That's
dude,
dumb.
Yeah,
That's-
there's a long.
she's
this is gonna be
equating
going on for
politics.
months.
She's
This isn't
equating
new.
politics with the death of 6 million innocent
It's
individuals.
not right. It's
Not
not right.
cool.
You can't. It's
Yeah.
indefensible. It's
I
so-
wouldn't defend what she said. I just don't know if I would have fired her. That's all.
Well,
yeah.
and
I
Star
would've.
Wars fans have been calling for her to be fired for a long time.
Yeah,
Like,
and
you're
you
not
know what?
a
Here's the thing, and this is going to seem surfacey. She isn't that hot anymore either.
And she's a terrible actress too. Like
Thank you, Zoey. I said that this
Yeah,
morning
she's
on the
shit.
I
show.
saw
Not
when I
good.
saw her in the Fast and Furious movie she was in, I'm like, you are the worst person in this whole movie. And
Yeah.
there's some pretty terrible people in this movie. So
And
Can
what's
we
the
just
name of
have
the chick
Robin
that
Wright do it, even though
What does
she's
she
not tough?
play? I love her. What does she
Oh, I
play?
love Robin Wright.
Yeah,
in the
Pencil
Fast and
skirt,
Furious
Robin
movie,
Wright.
she ended up being like she was a good guy to start, like the Rock's like right hand person, and then ended up being like a bad guy by the end. Like she played both sides of them, I guess. I don't know. It was a shitty role, and I was glad she died. when
Listen,
she
I'm
died
glad
in it.
she's done. I didn't look too much into it because I let those people fail on their own, but I noticed she gained a lot of weight.
I think she's a bit of a
Gee.
workout freak, right? Like,
No.
Yeah, she used to be MMA, like big
A
into
lot.
MMA. So
Of weight.
wasn't she a fighter or something at one point? So,
Fighter.
Dean, I have to
MMA.
Doesn't
go.
matter.
This is running a lot longer than I thought. You didn't have to bring up shit. Then I would talk about my stepmother. You knew that. You knew that would happen.
But
Not really, but you stay
it's your
crazy,
fault,
bud.
Dean.
yeah,
Don't
if you
mock
guys
me.
ever need,
You guys
like I
should
said,
see.
somebody who knows,
Yeah.
I
Listen,
know more than
I'm all
trans
about
stuff.
listen.
so-
I'm all about equality, and we're gonna have you back. And I'm also about equality. So just relax. I'm talking right now.
Yeah, Lachlan.
Go to town.
Yeah, no, I'm joking. But I will say this. It's been a great learning experience, I think, for everybody. And we didn't get to like
I agree.
several of the things I wanted to get to today. So that means we got to come back and do this again. But I want to thank everybody because the most important thing that we can do is be responsible when we're actually trying to entertain people. So it was cool. And that's kind of what I love about having so many different perspectives here, right? You know, you've got people from the left, you got people from the right, but more importantly, you got people that like people. And, you know, that's the cool part about doing this is bringing everybody together and seeing everybody have a good laugh, even though we've never really met each other personally, right? So thanks, guys. Appreciate you all being here.
Thanks, Steve.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me.
No
Thanks,
problem.
Zoe. It was nice meeting you,
to
buddy.
meet you, Zoey.
It was nice meeting you guys. And like I said, if you ever need somebody to bash QAnon with you, I'm down. So
All right. You're next, dude. You're sorry. You're
it's
next,
fine.
Zoe. I told you I'm going to fuck up the pronouns and the nouns, so you just got to relax.
I got a deep voice. I can't help it.
Yeah. But listen, appreciate you being here. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. That is Zoe Carey, who's just an awesome human being. Fun to be around. Nice to talk to. Appreciate her being here. Thanks to everybody for being here as well, including James.
Oh, see, fuck, stop doing that. You're going to brand me as this, like, oh, here we go with the fucking druggy crazy guy again. Oh my God, he's doing meth and he hates his stepmother. Doesn't everyone hate their stepmother?
It was a strong, no, it was just, not really. I don't have one. It's a strong.
Guys, if I showed you the list, you'd be like, oh my God, cunt was a good thing to say about yourself.
Really? She was a hooker, huh?
Dude, she used to pour ashtrays out of my head while I slept. Like shit like that. She used to come home drunk with guys and fuck them like in my dad's bedroom, and my dad would just be sitting there in the living room smoking cigarettes like a nervous fucking, like it was
she
an
hot?
awful experience. No, she looked like do you remember Hank
How
Hill's,
are the boobs?
Pardon?
How are the boobs?
Drenched with many men's semen. Probably some shit too. Seriously, I wouldn't put it past her. Smeared that shit right in her nipples.
So she was actually a hooker? Like
she was a stripper or a hooker. She served time for attempted murder on her first husband. She was a nightmare.
Doesn't your wife like want nothing to do with it then?
My dad's dead, thankfully. Now we don't have to see my stepmom. Oh, come on, guys, react. Like, I don't mean it like that. Jesus fucking Christ.
All right, dude, we're just scratching the surface. This is like finding out more about your stepmother is going to be probably a year-long process that I'm really looking forward to.
At least.
James, you need to settle in. Can I give you
shut
advice?
The fuck up, Locke. Jesus Christ. I was kidding.
No, he's not. That's the best part.
It's true, I'm not. But I still love you. If I take the time to tell you to go fuck yourself, I probably like you. Like,
no, he's just trying to give you friendly advice. But
the thing I was gonna say was that the one thing about radio people is whether or not it's a good idea or not, you drag things out of people. And that's why, because I'm old enough now to have done this to numerous people and seen people.
I dragged it out of myself.
I know you do, but you're also, you're an easy target. See, you build your characterization through these types of things. So
stop sociologizing me, you fucking asshole.
I don't know what he said, but he's probably right. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys.
I'll talk to you soon. Darren Pfeiffer from the band Goldfinger at Darren Pfeiffer on Twitter.
That was enjoyable.
That
was fun. James DeFiore, who literally just split because he has to go and smoke that spliff he just rolled. Not for me during the day, please. Not for me. And thanks to Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM morning guy in Edmonton, Alberta. Thanks for listening and watching. If you're a part of it, appreciate it. Have a great day. Thanks to our friends at Blue Microphones, at Blue Microphones on Twitter. I use the Yeti X. You should too. It's a USB mic. It's got a preamp right built into the thing, so you don't have to mess around with another box and a whole bunch of wires. Just one. Boom, 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 and you're done. Ton of different settings. One button controls everything too, and it sounds like $1 million. So at Blue Microphones, headphones, microphones, million different kinds of microphones. Lots of different setups. They're a Logitech company, so you can get involved in the whole setup at home if you're doing some of this stuff. Speaking of which, thanks to our friends at Domination, dmntm.com, dmntn.com. How do you produce content that you want to push out? How do you edit? How do you do all that stuff when it comes to you producing your content? Use Domination. We do. You should too. 74 pieces, 72 pieces in like 5 minutes. Try it for free. Go to domination.com today. Thanks to Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch. We love his Gitch. You should too. Gitch for men specifically. Don't want to leave out the honeys. If you want them to, you can wear them. Pouch in the front. Boxer briefs engineered for any level of performance. Moisture wicking fabric with a waistband that doesn't quit. Developed for performance, durability, resistant to piling. Who likes piling? I don't like piling. No one likes piling. It has the old fly hole too. I don't use it. I just pull the Gitch down and take a whiz. And it's got mega soft fabric. Real, like unbelievably soft. I'm wearing a pair today. You should wear them too. Plus, if you use promo code GITCH3, you get them for free. At least one. Anyway, not all of them. Use promo code GITCH3 when you go to Ed's Fine Imports. Order 3 and you'll get 1 pair for free. Bunch of different colors. Saw some new samples. Some are great. Some he's not going with, which are good. Like the bright greens. No one likes those. No one wants to kick their pants off and look like a key lime cheesecake. Nobody. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for watching. Join us at deanblundell.com for all our information, 35 different podcasts, and sign up for a newsletter there as well. Thanks. Have a